Hello. New baby designs are always in demand, and inspiration is sometimes a little bit hard to come by, so I thought I'd put something together based around this balloon, which is really lovely. Comes in shades of blue as well. This is the Hello World, and the ombre effect really does make it quite classy and on trend, and I'm going to use that as the inspiration for the rest of the design. So that's air inflated, and I'm going to put it on a small column made from 5-inch Centrepiece balloons, and I've double stuffed these so that they pick up on the colours in the foil. So this top layer here, I'm using satin pink with fashion white inside, and that gives us a nice match to this top colour. The middle colour here, I've used satin pink again, but this time with fashion pink inside, so it's just a shade deeper than that. And then for the row at the bottom, the colour at the bottom here, this again is satin pink on the outside with rosewood inside. And by doing those double stuffing and stacking them up, we'll recreate the ombre effect of the foil. So I'm going to start at the bottom with the rosewood double stuff, cluster of 4 balloons inflated to 5 inches, and then a small weight of your choice in the middle and an uninflated 260. And we're just going to stack the 2 middle clusters on there. These are inflated to 4 inches, like so. Now, sometimes it can be a little difficult attaching that to the top of a column, particularly on small ones like this, because you've got no flexibility, you've got no leeway to pull down tightly. So one way of getting a nice firm attachment point to the top of a small column is not to finish the column and then try and attach, but to take this top cluster and pull the foil firmly into this cluster, wrap 2 balloons around the neck of the foil, make sure it's nice and tight, and then just figure of 8 the foil tail through the cluster several times until it's really tightly attached and sitting nice and firm on the top of that one. And then you can attach it to the top of the column using the 260. So just pull that up through the centre, and that gives you then a nice tight firm fixing of everything together like that. So once you're happy with that, wrap it around a couple more times and then remove any excess, like so. Now, to give it a little bit of interest and a little bit of detail, I'm going to attach to the side of it a couple of baby feet, like this. And this is a really simple technique once you've mastered it, a little distortion technique, but it's very effective in using it as an add-on to another design. So I'll show you how we put that together. You're going to need a 12-inch balloon. In this case I'm using Centrepiece Reflex Gold, and you're going to need a 260. It doesn't matter what colour the 260 is because it's on the inside of there, but I'm going to use white just so that it's easily visible. Firstly, just inflate your latex balloon to give it a little bit of stretch and to make sure that there's room inside to put the 260 inside. And let it down again. Fold your 260 in half. Make sure there are no wrinkles, creases or twists, and just drop it inside the 12-inch. Get all the necks lined up. Now you're going to need to hang on to both ends, so you could leave that a little longer if you like. You do not want to let that disappear inside the balloon. Reinflate the 12-inch. Plenty of space inside. There's the closed end of the 260, and there is the nozzle end. Put that onto your hand pump And then we're going to inflate the 260 to a predetermined length. Now this will depend on how big you want your baby foot to be. This one has 4 pumps, so we need to ensure that there's nothing in the way that's going to prevent the 260 from inflating. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that that doesn't disappear. Pull on this until you can feel the inflated part of the balloon come up against your hand. There. And then we can tie the 2 ends of the 260 together. Don't worry about the 12-inch one deflating, because you're going to deflate it anyway. It doesn't really matter. Tie those together and then let the 12-inch one down and just shape it to create the shape of the foot, like so. Now we just need to make the toes. So this is a Reflex Gold 260, a little bit in there, not much, you don't need much of it. Tie it off and push the knot tightly up against the end of the balloon. So hold the nozzle, put your fingers between the nozzle and the knot and just pull, so that we've made the knot as small as possible, and then we can remove that. I'm going to attach it to the top of the foot here with, in this case, rubber cement. You can use glue dots, balloon bond, whatever your preferred adhesive is, but for something like this, rubber cement does work really, really well, and you can get that from well-known online retailers. We're going to twist the 5 toes. We need to start with a good sized bubble for the big toe. Next one a little bit smaller. You can just control the size of the bubbles as you go. Don't let go of the end. Next one a little bit smaller still. A little bit smaller still. And then the little toe. Put several twists in between each of the toes so that they don't come undone, and again several on the end. Remove the part of the balloon you don't want and tie it off. I am hanging on to the big toe with my hand at all times so that it doesn't all unravel, and then you can remove that as well, and there are the 5 toes. And then using the rubber cement, we just put a stripe of glue across the top of the foot there, and then we can attach the toes. So start at the tip of the foot there and then just put them down one at a time. Hang on to them for a few seconds. Really doesn't take very long. And there we have it. So now we've got our pair of baby feet, which I can then attach to the rest of the design. So I'm going to remove all unwanted latex here. I'm going to tie off the 12-inch because I don't need the neck, and again push it nice and tight up against and remove the neck of that so it's nice and neat at the bottom here. Remove the excess and tie off. And then I'm going to attach them together and work out where I want them to sit. Let's lay that down, it'll probably be easier. Yeah, so once again, using rubber cement or glue dots or whatever you prefer, we can put a little bit on there. The key with rubber cement is not to use too much because otherwise it takes too long to dry. and on there. So, pair of feet there, and I'm just going to then glue those onto the design. One there and there. Now you'll notice when you look at the balloon that there are a few icons on there, some little stars and also some little hearts. So I thought I would add one further detail using a 260 to make a heart. So I'm going to give it a good stretch, inflate it, that's probably about right, and tie the ends together. Make sure it's really well tied, because again I'm going to remove what I don't need. And then I'm going to turn that into a heart by pushing the top of it in and giving it what's called a shock twist, or a shock bend. It's the shock bit that's important. Bend it over like that, get hold of it and give it quite a hard tug. And that will create that dint in the top. And then we can add the heart. I'm going to put it this side. Again, once more using the rubber cement or your glue dots or whatever you prefer. And that will sit nicely in there. And finally, just to add a little bit of balance, because most of the visual weight for this design is now on the left hand side. Oops, hang on a minute. There we go. I've got some nice big, rather plush bows from some big satin sparkly wired ribbon, and I'm going to put those on the opposite side. I've tied them in place with a 260, which means I can just hook that through at the back here, and they will then sit there and there. I'll just clear that away. There's your Hello World design with a little bit of added detail and therefore a little bit of added value.